For all your pastry, bakery, and quality food, CK Restaurant is the only place to be. We do catering for birthdays, weddings, and all related services. We have all kinds of local foods, American, European, and even beyond.
So many cameras. Good morning to you all.
Wow. Maybe I think you can hear me loud, huh? Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen of the press. Ramadan Kareem, Ramadan Mubarak, welcome to the office of the Secretary General and the presidential candidate of the United Democratic Party. I want to start by thanking all of you for coming in these large numbers after a very, very prompt invitation to be here by midday. The United Democratic Party, under the leadership of Hussein Dabo, continues to believe that sunlight is the best disinfectant, that we have to operate transparently, we have to operate in a way that is accountable to the electorate, to the Gambian people. So this press conference is one in a series. This is the first major press conference in 2021. 2021 is important to the United Democratic Party, and I'm sure it is important to all of you present here. So we will be having monthly press briefings. The Secretary General will have a Q&A with the media fraternity to answer all questions of national importance, to lay across also the party activities and party programs for the 2021 presidential election. We are very pleased that the incident that brought us here, the Secretary General is here, ready, available to address all your concerns, all your questions. And again, like I said, you will be getting invitations from our office of the spokesperson to come regularly, either one-on-one with the party leader, party secretary general, presidential candidate, so as to answer any of your concerns, any of your questions as we inch towards December 2021. So on that short note, I want to thank you all for coming, and the party secretary general will now lead the press conference. Thank you very much for coming. Secretary General.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, I say to all of you, Ramadan Mubarak and Ramadan Kareem. So many of us here are fasting, and I pray that Allah the Almighty accepts all your fast and reward you abundantly, as I promised. The past 72 hours has really seen, as far as UDP is concerned, a lot of publicity, some very positive and others negative, and others still in the midway. But I think it is important for the Gambian people, and indeed the world at large, to be informed of the genesis of this incident. Several weeks ago, we took 2 of our vehicles to a mechanic by name Mr. Dabo so that they could be well serviced. Those that need repairs could be repaired, to put them in a state that is very roadworthy, so that the strains, the stresses, and the rigors of traveling around the country can be withstood by these vehicles. And he, of course, I know personally, and since 1996, I know that he has been also a member of our party, and that is why I thought that he should be one that should be entrusted with the responsibility of taking care of our vehicles and looking after our vehicles. I last communicated with him, I believe, on Tuesday, because I thought the vehicles were out for some time, for quite a long time, and whatever work needed to be done should have been completed. And his promise to me was that within the next 2 to 3 days, the vehicles will be delivered to us, overhauled, well maintained, and repaired. We understand that in the early hours of Saturday, someone who apparently the following day, in fact, when they break, because it was still Saturday, a search was conducted on the vehicle. A dog officer in the name of Kerr was among people searching, and this officer Banja, Lamin Banja, was also present with the person who was driving the vehicle, who had taken away the vehicle. And when they searched, no drugs were found. In fact, I read in the papers today that they said 3 wraps, but my information was that not a single wrap was found on the vehicle. And when conducted further search, and at the back seat, they found 7 seeds of what is suspected to be the cannabis sativa seeds. And the gentleman insisted to say that he did not put it there, and he was innocent. And I contacted Mr. Dabo and said, look, what has happened to our vehicle, and he was in shock because he did not expect anyone to take the vehicle. In fact, it was the key that was used was not the vehicle's own key. It was not the vehicle's own key. We are not claiming innocence on the part of the gentleman, but he has made his position quite clear that no drug was with him, and there was allegation that there was a third person or another person with him in the vehicle, and that person ran away. Now, if that person ran away, I don't know how that could be drug. Could it not be some other thing other than drug? But the pointing out this to say, how could he be driving and someone, jumping out of the vehicle when they were pursuing him in a vehicle, virtually bumper to tail? If someone jumped out of the vehicle, one would have expected, with their training, one or two other officers would also have alighted from their own vehicle and pursue that individual. But none of that has happened. Yeah? We want to say that the UDP has always been against criminality in this country, and more particularly use of substances that are harmful to the individual. In my career as a lawyer, I have refused to defend anybody for drug cases. I've refused it, and all that is to show our revulsion for drugs and drug use. If someone on his frolic uses our vehicle without our knowledge, and you want to pin that on UDP, I think that will be most outrageous. I think that is very ingenious. And of course, I'd like to take a quote from the spokesperson that, notwithstanding that this, political season, those are not the type of tactics that we get involved in. And I want to tell you, gentlemen of the press, that about 3 months ago, I had intelligence report or intelligence information that I should advise Modou Sabally, Ibrahim Adiba, Karafa Sonko, Honorable Saho, Yakumba Jaite, and myself, we should be very careful where we park our vehicles. Even if we take our vehicles to car wash, we must make sure that somebody stays in the vehicle. Because the scheme now is, particularly me, the scheme now is to plant incriminating materials on us. And for Sabally, Diba, Saho, Yakumba to silence them, and me to disqualify me. So I'm not saying, not accuse anyone, but I'm saying that, and I did caution them, I did advise them. In fact, Karafa, that had gone to the extent of identifying where he parks his vehicles, what time he does it, and what Atayavu he goes to. And when he's at Atayavu, where he puts his vehicle. They had gone all that. I got that intelligence report. And say anything, but there are very decent people in this country who do not want innocent people to be tainted with criminality for the sake of pleasing some other interest. And what is being tried to be done to make these UDP responsible for it, I ask this question. In the past, how many times have army vehicles been used by soldiers carrying bags of cannabis sativa? Was the Gambia Armed Forces held responsible for that? How many times have ambulances been used to ferry drugs using the siren to clear the way and intercepted? Has the Ministry of Health or the hospital where that ambulance services been held responsible for it? Government vehicles have been used in ferrying drugs in this country. Who has ever held the government responsible for it? Yes, opponents, the detractors, would want to pin this on UDP. But there's no amount of distortions of facts. There's no amount of spinning of facts that will change the story. In fact, I think it exposes the security in the way they handle this matter. Why should they take the vehicle away from the chap who was driving it, put him in the police vehicle, and then they drive in their vehicle? And no search was conducted on the spot when the child was apprehended. And indeed, the vehicle locked, and they took the key away with them until they break. These gentlemen and ladies, we do not want to be engaged in anything other than putting the facts before you, and those who are capable of passing a decent mind test will definitely pass the test. But those who really cannot pass a decent mind test will really go on to condemn UDP and associate UDP with this. And it doesn't bother us. As I say, no amount of distortion, no amount of spinning of facts will really change this. This is being blown out of proportion. 7 seats, as I'm told. And I've mentioned officers who are present, Blamin Banja and Korta. They conducted the search, and 7 seats of what is suspected to come from cannabis sativa. Today is the cocaine issue. the 2-ton cocaine issue. You should be concentrated, the media should be concentrated on that. Every week, true to his color, every week, I hear Peter Gomez ask questions, or at least questions come, and he says, but this, what is being done about the cocaine issue? That is what should be engaging the people's minds, and not this so-called UDP, UDP drug matters. I want to say that we expect the security to conduct an unbiased, impartial, and professional investigation to this matter. Forget the UDP as the principal opponent of the administration under which they are serving, and see themselves as servants of the people, serving all people, notwithstanding their differences in their political persuasion. This is what we expect from those officers who are handling this matter. I want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for responding to our invitation at a very short notice in order to clarify, in order to put forward to you the facts as we know it. And these facts, as I've said, they are incontrovertible, and we have gone to name 2 senior officers in the law enforcement areas, mainly Banja and Carter. We would not dare do that if we do not have evidence, if we do not believe in the accuracy of that statement. Our people, since Saturday morning, have been with the security step by step on this matter. Wherever they move, our people move with them. So we are not making any stories. These are first-hand information that we have. But I thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Identify yourself.
Before the Q&A, the procedure is that you identify your media representing, and then you ask the question.
My name is Abu Bakr. I am the producer of Soul News, and I am thanking Mr. Honorable Hussein Dabo, the Family Secretary of the United Democratic Party, for his clarification. My concern is not the allegation or the propaganda that is currently on social media and other places. The area that I want to concentrate, which is a question, is how on earth was it possible for this person or those guys use at least that people from the United Democratic Party? That's my first question. Because I see UDP as a very responsible party. So when I was coming to this press conference, Dr. Jan, I was starting to send me the invitation yesterday. So I asked myself, but why should those people have access to the people? Because the people is what people are now talking about. It's from where? It's from UDP. So if the case is going to be a court case, I'm not framed for it. I know you are a legal person. You can just arrest this matter as soon as possible. But they will use the people as an agent. And that's where they are concerned. UDP pickup was, you know what I mean? That's my first question. I don't want to just prolong the question. The second question is, your intervention on the side of the drug, the cocaine issue, that was a very fair play. That is something that the media should concentrate on, because this one just came right now. But the cocaine was there, and it seems that it is dying and then we are not talking about it. That we should press that one. Jammeh's case, it is worth 1 point something billion. We talked about it. This one is over that, so we should press it. When we press it, we should press that. I concur with that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Let me answer. Yes. You see, I think I've told you the genesis of this incident. We had taken 2 vehicles to the garage for maintenance and overhauling. It was under the control of the garage owner. So it was
the security, so the police should have searched the vehicle before getting the guy for their own vehicle. And then, yes, that is what you mentioned. So I was asking, are you concluding that maybe the police, it's just a question, maybe the police have a hand in this? Or in fact, maybe the mechanic that you give the vehicles to also have a hand in this? Because you really mentioned that if at all this is something that is really a straightforward or there's something that is carried in a professional manner, the police should have searched the vehicle instantly instead of taking the guy in their vehicle and leaving this one behind, in fact taking the key with them. So is there anything you're trying to understand? Thank you very much.
well. I have told you those facts so that I don't want to draw any conclusions. I want the people, the reasonable people, to draw their own conclusions. Was it right for them to get this gentleman off the vehicle, put him in the police vehicle, and they take charge of the police vehicle, of the UDP vehicle, and drive it to Bundu Station? And in the light of what I have told you, that the intelligence report we had, that myself, Sabali, Diba, Sonko, Honorable Saho, Yakumba, we should be careful because it intended to plant drugs on us. I mean, what could a reasonable person conclude? This was planted. This was planted. Why did you get the man out of his vehicle? He should have driven with him in his vehicle. Go to him and conduct, if you don't need on the spot, on arriving at the police station, conduct the side there in his presence. That's what should have been. But I leave it to you people to draw your conclusions from it. Yeah.
The third question goes to a lady also.
Gender bias.
We have to be gender balanced. We have the national president and the deputy party leader here. So.
Okay.
The first one is for covering you for
But remain for introduce follow.
Oh, okay. I said and I work with Daniel Palestine. Yes, my first question is Nigeria covering you for Hanimbi, more Diamo Seattle social media and Hanina community also. The first time, you never can
rap saba wala sa fe kata bari ka fo nyame e kamera ka ko mba mande tono le tatata ne moto bari moto ni la ni kar fulan jam moto ni me yadna yaga si ni lan ka fo ko e be political la a manque fen finata a manque political yaji ke ka fo ko ni be UDP toti nyano la ni be UDP la darajo ni ba jindi la wala yatinna ye kuke de mandal la menkela e kamotol ni articles of crime ke mutajane e kamotol ni cannabis mutajane badi kamotol natal ko e memfo ye mel muta ye fengal mel muta e kol dam man fenke bar niaje e be nyin keka e ko be political la pour UDP ka totinya ka UDP darajo dindi adon ko ngam memfo yama ko nyilo isata ya tinya nyaawo nyama ya jawjandi nyaawo nyama wata kala kafa ko UDP UDP responsible ala nganyim foye but in fact ila en question de wansa wolung la wasuto na dinding kende or at least ngamera na dinding kende but unfortunately by the political and the fanam I wouldn't spare it Musa Suso at the station of the that night on this matter. So in a machination, they started right there. Musa Suso. At Law Benna, they cannot deny it. Police officers were there, they cannot deny it. Why would he go there? At Nganinjele, Kava Kone UDP incidents katadros, NPP la mo kumal, ekata police. It happened with Yakumba, Fenkatata, Seumbala Tata. What does happen? To give it a political coloration. But in nothing that this is a good weapon in their fight against UDP politically. So, Motola Natalo Nying, foka UDP to the mall that Romovi Mafla UDP. Dolba Mafola, Dolba Mafola, Barani Mafola, what is that Mafola? I can tell you that.
Yes, gentlemen.
Yes, I am Adam Martin from the Point Newspaper. Considering the fact that UDP, to my personal opinion, is not only a democratic party but noble and professional, do we have a mechanism already set or stationed to avoid a situation of this nature in the near future?
In fact, even before this incident happened, I was approached by professional, well, this gentleman is also a professional mechanic, but established garage owners to discuss with me the handling and maintenance of our vehicles. In fact, on Thursday, I spoke to one of them, and my appointment with him today is at 11 o'clock. I don't know whether his house had waited. Going upon what is today, where we see and discuss these things. And I've also been contacted by another well-established garage so that we discuss the issues of manufacturing of our vehicles. My personal vehicle goes to that particular garage for maintenance. But this is a party vehicle. I didn't want to take a decision on that without really consulting with the relevant people in the party who could reach at that decision. But certainly, we are taking that measure to ensure that nothing happens like that in the future. But again, you can only take that to such measures when you take the vehicles to a garage for maintenance. You park your vehicle in an area, in a home, where there are several tenants. What precautions? Because it's sometimes difficult. Because other tenants in the place would go in and out, and other people come in and out on the pretext of visiting other tenants in the place. with unbiased minds to really reach a conclusion. And who should be held responsible? I don't think that will be for me to say. I think the investigations should really point at the person or the individual who is responsible. But what I just want to say is that you can spin, you can do everything, but UDP is not in this at all, because what they are using, the use of the vehicle, that's why I said when the Gambia Armed Forces vehicles was used, why didn't you say that the Gambia Armed Forces is responsible for this? Government vehicles, why is the government not held responsible? That government was trafficking in drugs because their vehicle was used. In fact, in those cases, by their employees. And in our case, in this particular, the person is not our employee. We didn't even take the vehicle to him. We took the vehicle to Mr. Dabo, and Mr. Dabo was not the one who was driving the vehicle. If Mr. Dabo had been driving, it's considered, well, you had given him the vehicle, he has the authority to drive that vehicle. That's not even the case with us. So my point is that, you cannot put this on UDP if you fail to hold the government or institutions in the past whose employees were found carrying cannabis in their vehicles. Yeah. Yes, madam. Sorry, let me give the lady, I'll come back. No, let's give it. And after the lady, I think he'll come to the gentleman there. Oh, okay, second time. Oh, second time.
She has the mic.
Okay, sorry. We apologize for that.
I overruled you guys.
We apologize. For the
issue of the drug, criticizing the government.
The cocaine drug.
Yes, for the issue of the cocaine drug that you mentioned. And now people are using this issue of the UDP against you. Do you think this would affect UDP's stand in trying to criticize the government in any drug case or any drug issue? Thank you, that's my question. In the main issue.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's what the people who are not capable of rationalizing things properly, that is what will be their conclusion. This is the government complicit, and I want to agree, and I did say so earlier on in one of my interventions, and I agree with Council Boriture at the TRRC that this quantity of drugs, those type of drugs, cannot come into any country without the government knowing anything about it, because they would have done the preparatory work. before they will come. They just don't come here, unprepared. They would have done all the things they need to do, get the necessary contacts, and then bring the drugs in. That cannot have the intelligence operatives in this country could not have failed to really know that since the drug left its port of departure, they ought to have been traced. They should have. So to really compare that with this what they call trade rafts, I think people who are really have prejudiced mind against UDP will definitely say so. Definitely, yes. So, and certainly, it's not going to affect the popularity of the United Democratic Party. It's not going to affect the chances of the United Democratic Party. They wish it could, but it's not going to, because the Gambian people know the schemings of governments against the UDP. I've told you, why would Musa Suso go to the go there? Go to the police. Why? Deputy Governor of West Coast Region, a few days ago you saw him organizing former APRC NAMs to join, and then to make sure that Barrow is elected. So for him and others like him, anything that will diminish UDP's chances would be their mission. So, but we are not bothered. Thank you. Is someone who that was it? This gentleman. I think this gentleman. I think the blind in black.
The gentleman in black.
Hello, good afternoon, sir. My name is Sankole Janko.
Sankole Janko. Yeah.
Sir, looking at after listening to your Genesis, it seems like it's not calculated enough, because I understand you said the key to the car wasn't even used. Which means a different key was used to the car. I just want to hear from you, officially, do you think it is premeditated? Let's say it is staged, bearing in mind that election years we do see so many things happen. Is this really staged against UDP?
Well, you see, as I say, I do not want to make any conclusions. We have stated the facts, and we want reasonable people to make their conclusions, to draw their conclusions from it. Really, in the first place, at that hour of the night, why would, if it was during the day, you may understand. But that late night, why would anybody use that vehicle? Why not another vehicle in the garage? Why that vehicle? Why not another vehicle in the garage? So we leave it to people to draw their conclusions. As I say, investigations are going on, and which we expect to be impartial, unbiased, and professional. So we want to wait for the outcome of the investigation. And of course, if it goes beyond the investigation, then we can go. Then we can go and really defend the image and reputation of our party. Yes. No, I think there are two gentlemen. And motol be mel bulu pe yamar la men wolong be sak hakil tuoti kanak hakil tuoti damang par hani be mel bulan la ni melong isi haklotu kadu ko fensi tare bulle me yalon kafako luwa man song moya moto o de si haklotu motorcycle walta sona yata ba mala motorcycle fonna tara de ibe itata mitin la ya pak bari suto jama ke la motorcycle dundu ila bungul la kono woto wolu pour ka ko ke wala be kole ala o ko la fana fente motorcycle bala me yalan ka ko si fen sekiaj bala jeto pour asi nupung mota jala wasi kole ya bara kata nyawonya hakil tuwal tuta mbema kew hakil tuwal tuta mbema kew hana man ke UDP pe ko janda ani UDP non officials nyolo ila motolo be nyantale ngang hakilo to kadu ko men kata ten asikeno na motol le wala na jabi ko ande ya police muso men na ko foten well ndefem fala woto malo fo police olombang fo kadu ko joint operation lama fo police olombang fo immigration olombang fo SAS olombang fo soldier olombang malo par aketa security sector dokulate ngamira ila nyaton kolu yalo ko moyle odo etel nyantale maybe nyanta menkala isa ke mallafi kanan ka ajaylota kala ala dokulla kam moma yalon ka ko delinquent officer nalon ka fo abe san frenyela wala manya kurun etafula ka ko ala dokulla aboake kan wala tola o ya sanction tafala ka ko the Department of Immigration, police, army, or whatever security outfit FC belongs to, the actions of the delinquent or that delinquent officer must have to hold them responsible for that. Politically motivated.
This issue was politically
Yes.
motivated.
No, if it is no, if it is if it is politically motivated, I will not be disappointed because I know that desperate desperate people take to desperate actions in order to survive. So really, I wouldn't be disappointed. Although I think it will be very shameful. It will be very shameful. But then I hope that it will remain shameful. But I want to also add that when it's known to be politically motivated action, that will make the Gambian people and all reasonable persons to despise those who are behind these very scandalous efforts to demonize and put UDP in bad light. It makes people despise them, and even people who work with them, whether it's in the security forces or even if they are doing it on behalf of a political party, some members of that political party will definitely despise such a move because people want to have free and fair elections. And to have a free and fair elections in this place, everything should be above board. Everything should really be above board. Your second question was?
Recovery.
Well, no, I mean, you said the police were just showing the vehicle. You know, we want to wait until the end of the investigation before we say anything about that. And we can tell you that, we'll put together a team of lawyers to be on the standby for us, not for the person, but for our vehicle. You did mention that they are showing the vehicle. I'm not sure what I saw in the papers and in social media whether it was the police that actually took photograph of the vehicle and put it either on the social media or as I saw it on Standard or on Standard newspaper. It could very well be the reporter of Standard newspaper who went to the police station, took a snap of the vehicle and put and have it there. So I don't want to blame the police for that because I do not know who really was responsible for putting out the image, the photograph of the vehicle in any media outlet, be it Standard or any other newspaper. But for sure, for NPP, it was the NPP people who really, the Mbaro media, it was them who really did it. Yeah, that I can tell you.
Kamaraba.
Yeah.
Kamaraba.
Yes.
But then we are talking about gender parity, but you cannot ask all the questions.
Maybe after this gentleman. Maybe after this gentleman.
I'm Anthony Camara from Camara Pisa, and without my account, I'm always affected back and motor, the motor from the piece. I think I came a support of following the implant the Fatou, and I don't know where it cannot belong, they are particular. Military, more than from the military government, woman is being done, so you need to call them, you need to carry you as a senior master, as a actual. In Carolina, Motor Miano, a very loading of good police personnel. When you understand certain amount of drugs, maybe more practical work, what is acting, I don't know. How come you have tight so them and Fear the kid on Kalum, Moto Bolivian. For some young, nearly a long or somebody for Alamor anywhere. For Mira be relevant. There was somebody for the direct TV. At the other will be more, where do go for the rent temple, no more than a prince.
Okay, Kokamol Haklo Sabatindi, Simen for no dang, Wallon, UDP Kodu, Albala do Comena, Alcodina Kodo Kokadama, or Ranum Kumot Simen for you. I'll send you love and Kafuko. Hanatra allora ko ye drogolu ye boto tang yole star nyamoto ko woto usenda bo bal no la kadu ko mamuto usenda bo so wo nimme yo mira fana anga mira hanibide ibe ko mo le la bari la ko mo nyima ye mutaje to follow ko mo nyi ka ko usenda fasilo and about the quantity of the drug, should warrant, not only pour impound. Well, man left cafe and photo. There's now for the con left a camp, enough team of lawyers put that together. Wallo, lebo jubela, but man left come for janto, may I don't cover con in a lawyer like moment after Clinton. Now, go Namoto Melbulu. Well, according to social media reports, you know, that is their version. And according to the police, they say, is that official police page? Is that Poliso?
Yeah, police.
Poliso? And what I saw written, you think the police will write that? UDP has been charged to court, pleaded not guilty. Is that what?
No, I mean the big.
No, but what was
Yeah, they said suspected cannabis.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, cannabis. So I want to know if it's actually the cannabis. Have you really seen the cannabis or the cannabis?
Well, I'm not sure whether when the definition of cannabis, whether it's just limited to the leaves, or it even covers the roots and the seeds. Yeah. I'm not sure whether it's just the leaves. Does it cover the branches? Does it cover the seeds? Does it cover the roots? Again, these are legal things that we want to leave. We want to leave to our lawyer. But I have to tell you that our people were with them step to step at the Bundu police station. And there's no doubt that what was discovered were seeds. That was what discovered. If the seeds were not discovered, and we wanted just to make the gentleman look good, we said nothing was discovered. But the truth is that that is what, and the gentleman even protested that, look, he did not put it there. He cannot put it on, he protested. And Maki Jeto, he protested. Because the way I was told the research went on, if you look for the seeds, you don't find it on the floor, and then you go on the back seat, trying to see what is at the back seat. Probably know where to find the stuff. Probably know where to find the stuff. Madam, can we give the other gentleman a chance, and then you'll come? Eh?
Yeah.
After that. What is it? It is Jacob.
It is better.
Security sector reform undertaken because now we are getting to know young Muslim Kamkularo directly at a Funyamin, Anatolia Funyamin, and Killing. At a Funyamin, what do you call UDP Lamoto? If they drop Jama Mutawakono and I'll fail can any audio key by to life. So then after Melbourne, not only UDP Lamasakunda every day, even you go address it. But UDP is the main opposition party. Saying not irresponsibility I mean as a police officer. And we want to simpanya the letter and you must say that because I told the government in waiting near the Musa.
Yeah. Ngamira modern question something like this. Ngamira do yanyin kajane. But ngamemfo walong ni officer ni mano abe formation jumalto but ala head wayalo kumol moy so alimbe nga si nga jube ala head of department be mun disciplinary action letala against her ningo fe nin sida fotil tanyon manko mamoy o ye fem public ka ko na officer ni ay menke yama nga nyum kulore la ka dan watumo sinana juwe men nyanta kala bari nam mem tela man la ko nilu nyin ko nyin naja ya tate ba hawla ilafta mol la nyinandila ko men fotel lack of security men be banko ka ilafta mol la nyinande wala fen la dakuya marse auto balu wala koleya ilafta mol la nyinande wala kurang la soto balia bi ni mobe diam kamansa konko akonyo ko na janto jiti janto kuranti janto kando kandia be mol fala ilafta mol nyinande la wala kafo ko UDP bari ilo kata kol be abe kala zero ti kadi to item gambian kolu kunin tali sai yalla na kafo ko mote I haklo nyami nola ke haklo bondu kuka memu tele everyday problem mote yama ni ko fana ko be UDP di register la well elections act même fo ngi ta wala be dal la ko di la de dal la ko yo ibole di la adun ngaji ko dali lo me kala men wono nyimme ko ke UDP la yabula la ba knowledge ke so the registration o man fenke but let us assume ka ko keta wala o senda wala balla lo ba asan independent candidate nim lo da san independent candidate nim lo da san independent candidate o UDP mel be mo from Koina to Kato e be bula na usenda wala do I think that is somebody over there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, gentlemen.
And then maybe you can give the lady.
Yeah, the lady will have the last question. I think we've been here long enough, and most of your questions have been answered.
Good afternoon. My name is Bausman Dabo, newspaper from the United States. My question is about the follow-up of what Mr. Sanford asked about the lady. Because, when she was, documenting what people share on the social media, she was like very happy and jubilant. And it could be possible that I stand to be corrected, but it could be possible that it's not the support of the United Democratic Party. The chief thing that the immigration department or the joint police services to do something about it since they have a fear. Number two, you spoke about
You can be sure of that. So it's left for the Director General. And we are not going to say anything until, as I've told Mr. Boja, until after 10 days. We see what action has been taken. Now, for Mr. Suso, I think I want to be very generous to him. I think when he last served his sentence, it's more than 5 years, and I think more than 5 or 10 years. So I believe even as a member of National Assembly, probably he could contest. I'm not too sure, but I think so, because of the lapse of time, you know. But the cardinal thing as far as he's concerned is that he is holder of a public office, an official office, deputy governor, responsible for the biggest region in this country with diverse political persuasions. So he should not be seen to be really advocating for the election of any political leader or the re-election of Adama Barrow. At the Public Service Commission, I think, should really take the appropriate step. And I believe the chairman of the Public Service Commission is a very principled person, very decent, very honest. Anything really tainting the integrity and the image of the public service, I think he'll do something about it. So we leave again, we throw the ball into their court. For the lady, we throw the ball into the court of the Director General, and for Mr. Suso, we throw the ball into the Chairman Public Service Commission court. Let's see what they do.
The lady will have the last question.
Well, I don't know when I say Madam Fatou Camara Junior. I don't know whose Junior Fatou Camara you are, you know. But your boss. Oh, well, that's why, you know. You say you are too young to know these things. You know, I mean, I did not have to get a letter from any security agency, whether drug law enforcement or the Inspector General of Police. These things were published in the papers. Everybody knows them. Published in the papers, and people are prosecuted and convicted. So it's not a question of trying to say something, you know, because it pleases me. But this is factual, and probably if you talk to Fatou Camara Senior, she'll tell you that this had happened here in the past. Ambulances, using the siren, you know, army trucks, government vehicles. Yes. So it has happened. It's not a made-up story. People here, much older, they know these things. Yes. Yeah. Well, you know, they are so long at the time that, but I know that ambulances have been used, and nobody can dispute that. Army trucks have been used, nobody can dispute that. You know, government vehicles have been used, nobody can dispute that. You know, if you are to go to the archives, you will see them. Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen of the media, I really think I should thank you. The party leader has given you 1.5 hours of the Monday, which is a very busy day. And like I said also, we will be having regular interaction with the press. We believe in absolute transparency. We are accountable to the Gambian people as a political party. And whenever events and issues arise where we need to give our version of those events, we will come out and, you know, in a no-holds-bar way. There is no filter, there is no editing. Usain Dabo will answer your questions directly, one-on-one. It's not that some spokesperson will come and read a statement. So really, we want to thank you profoundly that the next series of press briefings will be specifically on the party's agenda for 2021. Each and every policy area that we have been working on over these last 3-4 months will be the subject of discussion. So we want you also, as our partners, the media, to come prepared to do the necessary research so that we would feel that the work we are doing, we are not doing it just for our own edification. So again, thank you very much for taking the time and for joining the Secretary General and the presidential candidate of the UDP in clarifying this matter. Thank you. Animbara Jerejenjef. I'm sure we will see again very soon. Jarama, jarama.
Love like fire. Wow. Love like fire. Xam ngeen rek affaire bi xam ngeen fan la? Skincare la. 2020 lañ wax de. Waaw. Fii nag mooy Kerr fan Kerr zero tache. Perfect skin. Skincare saa su ne rek niñ ko dee defee rek. Loo lañ soxlaati rek. Maanaam bu ngeen am problème ci seen skin yéen xam ngeen fan la fii ngeen di ñëw suma xarit yeeg am di jàmm yi nga xam ne taas daf lañ sonaloon xam nga doon xeesal ba la ka xum éneew ma lañ ko nag waaye just in case comme ni ko gars yi di waxee rek en cas just in case loolu xew xam ngeen fi ngeen di ñëw fii ngeen di ñëw skincare plus si yu baax rek la ñoo dox nag ay baax rek fu ne la ñoo dem ci réew mi di lañ indi rek nag products yu baax du Paris du Italie du USA du fi mu nekk nii sax boole nañ ci nag Sweden fu nekk lañ leen a indilee products bu dee tamit nag da nga ñuul rek ñu lay jamaa natural beauty that melanin dripping we do